More on the government's response, I want to bring in Kansas Congressman Steve Watkins. Representative, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I want to start with the coronavirus because that seems to be the top type of news that's sweeping the country. It seems like it's something that a lot of the American people are actually paying close attention to. It may be part because the media is also paying close attention to it. So I just want to get your response. What do you think of the U.S. government's response so far to that virus?
The president's taken decisive action, and he's established a task force, putting the steady hand of Vice President Pence in charge, and he's asked for $2.5 billion in a proportionate amount, and he's going to get it at least.
And so regarding that too, we've also seen them kind of take tighter travel restrictions when it comes to these type of risks, I should say. At first they took them in regard to China. We see how bad that has kind of gotten in that country. And then we just saw over the weekend too that maybe Iran wasn't being upfront with the numbers being reported in that country. The president saying then that they're going to take travel restrictions when it comes to the Iranian regime as well. What else do you think that should come next if this were to continue to escalate around the world? Not necessarily here in the U.S. just yet, but say, for example, that more cases do pop up around Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, countries like that.
Listen, the president took decisive action early. I mean, he established travel restrictions from China back in January, and he took a lot of criticism for that, but I think that we're looking better because he did. Now what we're seeing are the government agencies, and I've spoken with them, CDC, FDA, NIH, as well as state and local officials, working together with industry to help create solutions with regards to detection, treatment, and prevention.
And when it comes to this topic...
And vaccination.
That's a big one, too. In fact, that's something that the CDC says we still might be about a year away, but the Health and Human Services Secretary, Alex Azar, says that, yes, that might be kind of the long term of that. So it's something that we're going to keep an eye on, but a vaccine still seems to be a little bit off. So for the time being, it's a little bit more about preventative measures. And we've seen the White House kind of say that they're looking to the southern border now, saying that they want to make sure that there's nothing coming in that may have a coronavirus outbreak. And this has been something that they've kind of pushed for a long time, not just when it comes to the coronavirus, but just border security in general. Does this situation kind of make the point that Republicans have been trying to make for the past 3 years?
Absolutely. I mean, we're reminded that the porous nature of the southern border also affects us in a number of different ways. We're susceptible to virus outbreaks coming through that border. And so it's yet another reason to build the wall and understand that the porous nature of our border is also linked to our national health security.
And Congressman, I want to get your take too, because we know that the Trump administration has taken a hardline stance against China. We've seen the Chinese response to the coronavirus, at first kind of slow walking the numbers. A lot of people not necessarily sure what we should believe coming out of China. So what has been your response to the Trump administration's approach to China just as a whole?
Well, I think the administration is spot on. This is a reminder that China is not a great partner on the world stage. And what this really plays to is the Trump trade doctrine. We need to give manufacturers a different alternative to Asia and to China. This is really USMCA, man. This is bringing trade and manufacturing and the supply chain back to the digital and manufacturing North American center.
And that's right. And that's a point too, that as the Trump administration continues to make deals with, as you were saying, with Canada, Mexico. They're also making deals with India, Japan. They're kind of setting themselves up to be successful on many fronts as they continue with the trade war with China right now. Is there any reason to believe that this latest outbreak will affect that negotiation at all?
Well, what this latest outbreak reminds us of is that national health and national security are inextricably linked with China manufacturing, and so it will affect how we deal with other countries in our trade moving forward.
And when it comes now to the U.S. economy too, I mean, we've seen, for example, actually there's a little bit of a surge right now on the Dow, which a lot of people weren't expecting. But last week we saw the markets pretty dip for the most part as well. Do you suspect that this will be a temporary type of hardship, or do you think that this is something that maybe Americans should be looking out for moving forward?
Well, I think it's too early to say what the market will do, and the markets will adjust. The important thing is that we relocate the global supply and manufacturing back to North America, back to the manufacturing center that it is, and that's going to set our economies up for success in the future.
No, and to your point too, I mean, healthcare, national security, and the economy, people don't like to say it, but they're more entwined than people may think. But Representative Watkins, I really appreciate you coming on today and breaking down this complex situation as we move forward.
Thanks, Alex.